guys, welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling. Appreciate you guys swinging by the channel and spending some of your day with me. And today guys, we got a good video. We're gonna do some soft plastic modifications to help you get more bites. Now these are modifications that I do them every time. It's like this is just standard for me. I don't ever get a soft plastic out of a box or out of a bag or something like that and put them on. I always do these modifications, 5 or 6 different ones I wanna show you here. And you're gonna see, guys, I'm gonna show you some before and after, what they look like before the modification and after. And you can tell me for yourself if you don't think they're gonna catch more fish. So we'll get into that in today's episode here. Also, guys, spring is here, basically, early spring. If you guys are looking to get out on the lake, getting ready for your spring fishing trips, I'd just like to invite everybody to please check out my Fish in the Moment Lake Map breakdowns. If you're going fishing on your favorite lake or a lake you've never seen before, this is a great resource, guys, to get you some good fishing places. I built these maps specifically for Fish in the Moment that give you 40 GPS waypoints to go to, tips and advice on how to fish all those spots. I'll have the lake map breakdown link in the description of this video through Fish in the Moment if you want to check that out. And also, guys, thank you very much for everybody that's hit that subscribe button here at Intuitive Angling. All you guys that have signed up for a channel membership or a Patreon membership. Thank you very much. You can do that, guys. You can become a channel member by going to the homepage and hitting the join button, or going to my video description and join up as a Patreon member. And thank you for the support. Really appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to get into just some of my favorites here. I'm just going to go through a couple of them and show you what I like to do. A lot of you guys that have been with the channel for a long time, you've seen some of these because they're basic fundamental stuff, but I'm going to dig into it a little bit deeper beyond that. The first basic thing that you need to do, with all the soft plastics you get, this is like something like getting up out of bed in the morning and brushing your teeth. You want to bring the salt to the surface on your soft plastics and rough them up. So I'm going to show you before and after. Here's the soft plastic stick bait. We're just going to rough them up. We're going to bring this salt up. We're going to pull them. And by doing this is going to give the bait a lot more pliability. It's going to have a lot more action, because that salt will make a soft plastic lure stiff. And by doing this, it's gonna make it softer, it's gonna change the color, make it look more natural. And every soft plastic manufacturer has a different level of salt in it. So some of them you have to work them a little harder. Say, for example, if you're using a Zoom soft plastic, there's a ton of salt in there and you don't have to do much to them. But if you're using another soft plastic like a Zoom that probably has half the salt as a Yamamoto, you may have to work them a little bit more. But here's the difference here. Here's the same bait, guys, before roughing them up, after roughing them up. Now, if you're a fish, you tell me which one doesn't look more edible to you. That thing looks a lot more realistic and lively. That's the first thing I do. The next thing you have to do is you have to get you a good supply of dye. Dye, the modifications that you can make with dye are vast. So I use the Spike It dyes, and also, guys, I'll link everything I'm talking about. I'll link the Spike It dyes and my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of this video. If you guys would like to pick some up using my link, that's much appreciated. Things like dye, this new bait pop, guys, I've been using this new scent. This stuff is freaking awesome, guys. This bait pop scent here stays on your bait forever. You put it on with your finger. It's got the old fish formula scent in it, amino acids, real fish. I'll have this in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description too. Definitely want to pick you up a few tubes of that. And I'll show you how to get it all set up. Now, the first thing you have to realize is there's a time and place for a dip and dye and a time and place for a pin. The dip and dye is for more aggressive coloration, and the pins are for more specific modifications. So let me sort of show you what I'm talking about here. You can take a creature bait like the Zoom Z-Craw here, and you can take the marking pin. Say, for example, if you don't want a lot of color, you just want a little bit of color, mark this with the marking pin on there. And another thing about it is you can control how bright or how light it is by how light you put it on there. If you just want to barely, just a little bit of chartreuse, you can put it on real lightly, and it's very, very subtle. Sort of see how those little tips like there just have a little color in them. But then, say for example, the water's dirtier and you need a little bit more aggressive color. Beyond that, this is when I use the dip and dye, because the dip and dye makes it look a lot brighter. It just applies it a lot different. So you can see the vast difference with the dip and dye there. it's gonna stand out quite a bit more. And you sort of need both, because there's certain situations where, say for example, if the water's got, some pretty decent clarity to it, but I want it to stand out just a little bit, that's when I put the little puff of chartreuse or something on the tail. Works pretty good. Now there's a couple different colorations too. You definitely need the standard chartreuse pen. The chartreuse is sort of the standby. You can't go wrong with it. It creates sort of a bluegill look. Another one that you want to have, some type of an orange. Orange is really, really good in the spring and the fall. I'll give you a good indication, guys, of when you want to use orange. Orange is a really good color. I don't know what it is. It's just sort of the thing behind that, but it's a really good color when the water temperature is in the 50s. There's something about it. So, you can get orange dye too. I just didn't have any with me, but that's the wrong. Oh, I actually got my wrong pen. I had my orange pen on the wrong one. Let me get you some orange dye. I'll sort of show you here. There we go. A lot of people don't use orange dye for some reason. I'm not sure. It's like everybody, when they get dye, they just go straight to chartreuse. But the orange is a really, really good color. Sort of gives a different look. You don't want to get carried away with orange either. It's just like a little bit goes a long way with the orange. And like I said, I use orange over chartreuse, especially like in the months of, say, March and November. It's a little bit of orange on there. Looks really good. The orange works really good as a jig trailer too. Anytime that I'm using like a brown jig with a green pumpkin trailer, I'll put a lot of orange in it. And another modification, guys, a lot of people don't use is blue dye. Blue dye with a green pumpkin soft plastic is freaking deadly. Let me show you what it looks like a little bit. A lot of people never ever use blue, but like here in my part of the country, we have a lot of crawdads that have blue on them in the springtime of the year. So taking a creature bait, especially something with a wagon tail on it like that, like some type of a paddle tail, and putting that blue dye on it, I catch a bunch of fish with blue dye on green pumpkin. A lot of people don't use that. And that's a really good color to use if the water clarity has got a little bit of color to it. So here's sort of like let me talk a little bit about the water clarity as far as what you use on there. Here's sort of the water clarity gauge that I use for my 3 different dyes, which are blue, chartreuse, and orange. And I've used others too, but those are the primary ones. If you have water visibility that is like over 3.5 or 4 foot in clarity, that's when I just dab the tips of it with chartreuse. I'll take the marking pen and I'll just put maybe like a little 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch of chartreuse on it. If it's clear, if it's dirtier than that, say if the water visibility is anywhere between 1 to 2, maybe 3 foot, depending upon the light intensity, I'll use the dye and I'll dip the dye anywhere between 1/2 inch to sometimes 1.5 inches, depending upon how dirty the water is or how dark the sky is. If the water visibility is like 12 inches or so, or 12 or 15 inches, and it's a cloudy day, I may put this much chartreuse dye on it. So it just depends on the light intensity, water clarity with that. So that's a really good judge with that. If the water is dirtier, like a foot of visibility, that's when the blue dye can work pretty good. A lot of it is just experimentation with it, just to sort of see what the fish look like, I prefer at the particular day. But one of the things about it, guys, is dye helps you create a lure that nobody else has in terms of the look on it, and as far as how much dye and how the dye is laid on, as far as if it's dull or bright looking. So you can create a lot of colors that work really, really good that a lot of people don't ever use. And finally, one other bait I want to show you here is a tube color. The tube is a really good bait in the springtime of the year. And a lot of people don't use it anymore, but the tube is a really, really good flipping bait. So I do the same thing with the tube. This is where you have a really big noticeable difference with it. Rough that tube up a little bit. And then with the tube, I do use the dip and dye with the tube, because you can't hardly put the dye on correctly, if you don't. Here's that. Notice the difference on here. This is freaking deadly here. You guys take a smoke tube with some chartreuse on it versus that one there. They'll definitely bite that thing really, really good. That's one of my favorite soft plastic modifications to use there. But the main thing with this, guys, to remember is just experiment with a little bit. I mean, you guys can come up with some stuff yourself as far as stuff that looks a little bit different. But the best advice I can give you, like I said, rough your soft plastics up as soon as you take them out of the box. Get you a good supply of dye. Definitely going to help out. And then finally, guys, you always want to finish it up with some type of scent on it. This is the bait pop, guys, I've been using. And I like this type of stuff that you can rub on with your finger because number one, it stays on better and you can control, you know, how much you put on there. But the spray that you have, I mean, the spray type dye that you have, it tends to come off a lot easier. But you can take like this bait pop here, and guys, you can rub it on, and then you can fish it for like 20 or 30 minutes, and you can still feel it on there, even after 20 or 30 minutes. That's why, you know, I went to the bait pop over like the bang stuff that I used to use, but definitely try YouTube of that, guys. They got a bunch of different flavors and bunch of different colors here. So that's the final thing that you always want to do. And one of the reasons that you want to use a scent on a soft plastic all the time is, here's what happens. It's like those fish will come down on a soft plastic or a jig or something, and they'll get their nose like that far away from it. I've seen them before. And they have strong olfactory senses. So when you got stuff like bait pop on there that has this amino acids and real fish, they're a lot more apt to get down there and just suck that thing in if they can smell it and see like the look of it on there, like looks more natural. If you've got just a chunk of plastic out of a machine and those fish nose down on this, okay, you got a chunk of plastic with nothing on it, and then you got something with like the bait pop on it, you're going to get double the strikes if you have some type of scent on it on a soft plastic. So always use scent on your soft plastic. It's going to definitely help you out. Anyway, guys, I'll link all this stuff in my Tackle Warehouse link if you want to get some of it. Spring is a great time of year to fish soft plastics, one of my favorite times. So get stocked up on it, and hope it helps you guys catch some good ones. I'll talk later.